President Trump wore a mask, and none of us will be able to see it because we'll still be in lockdown.
Wow. Only 4 months too late. What's he going to do next? Drag his Christmas tree out to the curb?
Late night host talking about President Trump, who wore a mask for the first time in public after months of refusing to do so. Tonight, a new poll shows a deep gender divide when it comes to wearing a mask. 54% of women report always wearing a mask in public, compared to only 34% of men. Come on, boys. The science is clear. Wearing a mask works. And Bill Nye, the Science Guy, went on TikTok, of all places, to help explain why some face coverings work better than others.
It can block the movement of hair, but only to a certain extent. This is a homemade face mask. It has just 2 layers of cloth with a pipe cleaner sewn in to help it fit against the bridge of your nose. And it blocks the movement of air very effectively.
Joining me now, our very special guest, Bill Nye, the Science Guy, host of the Science Rules podcast. Bill, this makes no sense to me. We're in the middle of a pandemic. It's common sense. Why did you feel that you needed to make a TikTok video? You're not making one for seatbelts, bike helmets, or condoms. I'm glad you're not.
I have done actually a bicycle safety video, and I have done a seatbelt video. This is back in the 20th century, but now we have this extraordinary problem where everybody's personal action affects everybody else. That's the nature of these medical masks. Now, the thing is, people have this perception that it's a personal choice, that it's a matter of personal freedom. I could disagree more, but I don't see how. In other words, we've all agreed that you're not allowed to blow secondhand cigarette smoke into other people's faces or workplaces or restaurant areas. And so in the same way, I think we should agree that we're not allowed to blow potentially coronaviral particles into other people's faces or workplaces or spaces. Now, this is not an extraordinary idea. It just may seem a little bit uncomfortable, but so is, not to be, it just, when you get very sick with this, it's very troublesome and very uncomfortable. And it's hard not to get, if I may, arms akimbo about this, because it seems, to your point, like common sense. Like, why wouldn't everybody do it? But it's this perception that we have rights that are not taking into account other people's rights. It's selfish. It's weird.
You're the science guy, so that's why I'm turning to you. But I want to ask you about other voices of influence that have huge platforms. Fox News host Tucker Carlson said there is no evidence that masks help slow the spread of the coronavirus. I'd like you to watch this.
This is what happens when science intersects with politics. Both lose, and the country loses most of all. Keeping kids out of school, keeping the elderly inside, forcing everyone to wear a mask when there's no evidence that helps.
No evidence that helps. That message, those words are making their way to millions of homes every night of the week. What's your reaction?
Well, you know, Mr. Carlson and I have butted heads a few times. I could disagree with him more, but I don't see how. And as far as his extraordinary claim that science and politics have nothing to do with each other, in the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8, it refers to the progress of science and useful arts. And I remind everybody that the understanding of viral particles and the shape of the coronavirus, which has this crown of thorns on it, is a result of electron microscopy, which you would not have without science. Vaccines are a couple century old technology that's very well understood. And masks work. His extraordinary claim that they don't work, I don't think is based on facts. I think it's him just telling people what they might want to hear, his audience might want to hear. But my question always, if you want to talk about Mr. Carlson, is what does he want for the future? What do his 4 children want for the future? Do they want a future where everybody's allowed to run stop signs and go through red lights? And I'm not being silly. I'm just saying, are we going to have rules to protect each other or not? It's really a kind of weird claim that he made.
Well, for his children, for mine, for all children, I certainly hope we all want the future to be better, smarter, and stronger. Bill, always great to see you. I appreciate you sharing some of your expertise with us this evening. Thank you so much for watching. That does it for me. My dear friend and colleague, Steve Kornacki, picks up coverage right on the other side of the break.